Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. You already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Make sure to like, comment, and share, and hit that bell so you're notified every single time I post a video. So I know you saw the title. I'm going to run through my entire experience in Istanbul, Turkey. I was there for 2 day trips, and I'll make sure to provide enough details so that you get all the tips, tricks, and so that you don't make any of the same mistakes that I did. So we're gonna hop right into it. Okay, so it's day 1. My flight to Turkey is landing there at 4 p.m. and I have a 10-hour layover before my next flight. I knew that the sun over there was gonna set a little before 7 p.m. so I wanted to kind of get out there and maybe head back to the airport around 11 p.m. which would give me over 6 hours of exploration time in Turkey. Before I'd even flown over there, I had found a few Airbnb experiences online that I thought were pretty cool. I'll post some of them here. And I considered doing them, but then I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna hop on a taxi and explore the city on my own time. And to be extra prepared, I downloaded the app Taxi, which is pretty much, according to articles, a really good taxi app in Turkey. So that's what I downloaded. I was ready to go. So when I landed in the Istanbul airport, I was immediately lost. I don't know if this is factual or not, but there's a couple of articles out there that were saying that the Istanbul airport is actually the largest airport in the world, or one of the largest airports in the world. All I know is that I had a tough struggle trying to maneuver my way through the airport. I will say though, my second day in Turkey, I had a much easier time maneuvering through the airport because at that point it was familiar grounds, but that first day was rough. With that being said, it took me about 3 hours between the time that I got off the plane to the time that I could finally find where the exit was that led to where the taxis were. I mean, I will say, you know, while I was looking for that exit, I did detour a little bit because there was some stores that were really nice. And then the sun was setting, so you know, I had to snap some pics. I might have been stalling a little bit too, I ain't gonna lie. So I spent too long wandering around the airport. I've been here for about 3 hours now. By the time I found it, it was pitch black outside. You know, it's too dark. Go outside. You know, people, crazy people. Kind of punked out a little bit. I didn't leave the airport that first day. Yeah. But I will say, it was my very first solo international trip, okay? So I was scared, okay? I was dipping my toes in. If you watch the Bali vlog, you'd see I was dipping my toes in. My toes hadn't been dipped yet at that point. I was scared. So it was pitch black and I hadn't left the airport yet, and I certainly wasn't gonna leave the airport now. So I stayed there. Yep, that's how the first day went. Yep. I went to talk to the front desk. This guy was really nice and he gave me this voucher so that I could get free food at the food court. So that's what I'm about to do. And then I guess I'll just chill out here, read a book until my flight. Day in Turkey was a fail, but we'll try again on the way back home. And I found out that with a layover as long as mine, the airport gives you a free meal voucher. I didn't get a video clip of the food, but it was pretty much just a pre-made burger with a small fry and a small drink. Now I gotta tell you guys what happened. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little hurt when I saw the food that I was given. I'm very grateful because, you know, any food that's free is good food. But the voucher made it seem like you could get any meal from Burger King as long as it was under $10. So, you know, I'm standing in the line all happy with my voucher in my hand, ready to get like a Whopper Jr., some mozzarella sticks, you know, something of substance, you know? So I'm standing in the line and it was a little busy, you know, people behind the counter were kind of running around a little bit. The line wasn't crazy long, but it was some people in front of me. I'm standing there and one of the guys behind the counter kind of goes like this and he's like, "You come." I didn't notice him at first until he was like, "Excuse me, you come." So I was like, oh, me? Okay. Mind you, there's people in front of me in line, but I'm like, okay. I scooch on up to the counter and he motions towards the paper in my hand. So I'm like, ooh, like, okay, I get to skip the line because I have a voucher. Great, right? So he takes the paper and he's like, "What do you want?" So I start my order. "Oh, you know, I'd like to have mozzarella sticks." You know, and he looks at me like I'm stupid, right? And then he cuts me off and he's like, "Beef or chicken?" So I was kind of like, chicken? And he just I kid you not, turns around, grabs a tray from behind him, faces me, slaps it on the counter, and goes, "Next person!" Heard you. It felt like a scene from the movies, like when the evil lunch lady will just like slap the food on the tray. Oh my gosh. I will say though, at the end of my layover, I was pretty hungry, but I just waited because I knew that in an hour I'd be eating all the complimentary food, drinks, and liquors on the flight. So that was that. Last thing for day one, we're gonna talk about the Wi-Fi atrocity that occurred, okay? And it occurred on both days in Turkey. So pretty much the Istanbul airport does not have free Wi-Fi the way normal airports have free Wi-Fi. Instead, they offer limited 1 hour Wi-Fi per phone number. I pretty much learned the hard way that you only get an hour, and then after that, you're on your own and have fun blowing up your phone plan with international data fees. But I found a sneaky little way to get around it, so if you're ever flying through Turkey, you didn't hear this from me, but there's a way to get unlimited Wi-Fi. It just requires a little bit of coordination from some loyal friends and fam, you know? So pretty much when you go to sign into the Wi-Fi, it's gonna ask you to type in a phone number. So if it's the first time around, type in your phone number. It's gonna text you a code, you type in that code, and then boom, you're connected to Wi-Fi. Now, when that 1 hour is about to run out, and it doesn't give you a timer or anything, it just stops working without you knowing, and next thing you know, you get a text from Verizon like, "Hey, you've just activated your international data plan." Yeah. So anyway, before that hour runs out, use Wi-Fi to contact a friend, somebody, and just say, you know, "Hey, you're about to get a code to your phone, okay? Nothing serious. Can you just tell me what that code is and do it in under 60 seconds before it times out? Don't ask me no questions." No, I'm kidding. I had time to kind of explain to them like, "Hey, the Wi-Fi here is dumb, blah, blah." But pretty much what I would do is try to sign into the Wi-Fi using a new number. I'd type in their number. They'd get the code. They'd tell me what the code was and I'd type it in, but because it's on my device, the Wi-Fi would give me another hour. And I literally went down the line through all my friends and my mom, my sister, my brother. I was getting that free Wi-Fi, and I did it for the majority of the layover, and it worked just fine. And then once I ran out of people to get Wi-Fi from, I just read my Kindle and chilled out and stuff until my flight. But just so you know, no free Wi-Fi, yeah. Okay, day 2 in Turkey. I had another 10-hour layover, but this time around, my flight in Turkey landed at 5:25 in the morning. So at this point, the sun is supposed to be up, bright, and shining, and I have no excuse. I'm determined to get out the airport this time. I really wanted to see the city. So I'd already had screenshots of a couple of locations that I planned to visit. I think they were all free to see. It was like museums and stuff like that. The overall point is that I planned to get to the airport, take out some Turkish liras, and hop in a taxi and go explore. When I landed in Turkey, it was raining. So I said, okay, that's fine. You know, I'm not sugar. I don't melt. So it's fine, right? And then I checked the app. It said it was gonna be a lightning storm, you see? So I still went out. I left the airport, but I decided maybe I shouldn't go by myself, because what if I get stuck in traffic? You know, whenever it rains, people drive different, they slow down. I didn't want to deal with that. So I went back to Googling, and I actually found out that with my airline, the one that I flew, Turkish Airlines, they actually offer free tours for people with long layovers. So that's what I did. I ended up scratching my plans. Before I did the free tour, you know, your girl had to get that free meal voucher first. So I went to a different front desk and I explained like, yeah, you know, I have a really long layover. Aren't I supposed to get a voucher? And she was like, yeah. Got my voucher, ate my little crusty Burger King, and then I went to do the tour. I will say it was a little bit of a hassle finding the free tour booth because it was literally on the other side of the airport, down a couple of floors. You have to go through you have to basically leave the airport kind of before you get to the tour's booth. So I actually had to go through customs. I was already prepared to leave and explore Turkey in the first place, so I had my Turkish visa ready. You do have to pay for it, by the way. If you're coming from the US to Turkey, you have to pay, I think it was like $30. I'll put it on the screen if it's not. So I went through customs. The lady was kind of looking at me like I was dumb because you have to show them your boarding pass. So she was like, why are you leaving if your flight is this afternoon? And I just sounded like such a tourist. I was like, I just want to explore. So anyway, she let me go. I found the booth. The tour itself was pretty cool. It was about 3 hours and we were literally in a big red bus. I felt like such a tourist. It drove around the city. It showed us all these different sites. The city's really beautiful. It was raining and lightning on and off the whole time. I'm actually very glad that I was kind of with the airport on a trip versus being by myself in a taxi. They even let us kind of get off the bus at a couple of stops so that we could, you know, take pictures and look around and see the sites more closely. So that was cool. At one of the sites, it started raining when I was out there. There was this one dude. Homeboy looked like he found some ponchos off the side of the road, bro. When I tell you, he had ponchos in one hand and some old umbrellas in the other. And he was trying to sell these for an arm and a leg. Boy, if you don't get, man. I didn't buy nothing from anyone on this tour. I minded my business. I looked around. I snapped some pictures. There were these two super nice ladies that were actually sitting across from me on the bus when we were going on the tour. So they were chatting it up with me. And one of them was so kind. She offered me a free pretzel because she had bought like 5 and didn't want them anymore. So I got one of them. She took some pics from me. Overall, the experience was good. The bus took us back to the airport. I had maybe like an hour to spare. The last thing I'm gonna mention is the checkpoints. Coming into Turkey was like fine, right? But then leaving Turkey to fly to the US was something else. I don't know why, but there were 7 checkpoints. 7. There were 2 checkpoints right at the departure area. So once you get there, you go through like the TSA, put your bags through the scanner, you walk through. You did one of those, right? You walk like not even 10 yards and there was like another one. You just go through 2 sets of machines and people and stuff. Then when you get to your actual gate for the flight, there were 5 more checkpoints. 4 of them were just to check your passport and your boarding pass, which I thought was ridiculous. 4 times, I'm literally, like there was 4 different guys standing in a line and you have to let them scan it all 4 times and look at it. And anyway, after that's done, the last checkpoint is pretty much you have to give them your carry-on and they open it up, they have gloves on, and they go through every single person's carry-on. Now y'all know me, I have a lot of clothes and I strategically folded them in a specific way so that the bag could close with no issues. Homeboy opened my bag, had his gloves just ruffling all through my stuff, and then had the nerve to look goofy when my bag wouldn't close. Sir, what did you expect? Ha! So after I go through all those checkpoints, you know, I get on my flight, sit back, and I'm just kind of thinking about my time in Turkey, and I realize I never actually took out any Turkish liras. I never even really touched my wallet, to be honest. So yeah, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Raisin Standards.